Joining us now is Matt McIlwain, AI investor, managing director at VC firm Madrona. Matt, how big a deal is losing Sam Altman at OpenAI?
Well, this is breaking news, of course, and there's a lot to digest. I think it's a big deal. He is a co-founder, the visionary behind OpenAI in many respects. And so you've really got to disaggregate. Is this a personal issue? Is this a corporate, as an OpenAI issue? Or was there something going on in the broader strategic landscape as to why this happened? You just had that quote from the board. And I think the other thing that's notable here is, Mira, very, very talented person, CTO, but why not Greg Brockman? Greg is the president. And if you note, the other detail in there is that Greg has lost his role as chair of the board. So that suggests to me that at a minimum, this is a corporate level issue of some corporate intrigue that's going on at OpenAI, which maybe has some strategic.
Or Matt, could it be that he will be considered, and so being chairman wouldn't be appropriate if the board's going to be considered that? And on Mira, brilliant young engineer in her mid-30s, has been at OpenAI for 5 years. It seems to me like maybe there's not as much continuity or operational concern because you do have experienced leadership in place besides Altman himself.
Yeah, but my experience on boards, if you got a president and co-founder who is also chairman of your board, and you remove them from that role and you don't make them CEO when you let go of your co-founder and CEO, that suggests that there's more going on here. I do not have inside knowledge on what that is, but I'm just, from having been on many boards over many years, that combination of data that we already have is intriguing, to say the least, at a corporate level. And maybe that's that whatever things that Sam was not being transparent with his board about, Greg had some knowledge of, and so there was some issue around, kind of transparency, even if it was a Sam specific issue. But it is very notable that they made Mira the interim CEO.
What do we need to hear from OpenAI, from the board, while they figure this leadership piece out, to perhaps give the ecosystem confidence that they should continue to strategically rely on the software that OpenAI is putting out?
Well, I think that what we need to hear is that they are confident in their core business and their core strategy, notwithstanding this leadership change. I think what will be interesting to see is what we hear from other people. So what will Microsoft, who is a nearly 50% owner of OpenAI, what will they have to say? Satya just appeared on stage at OpenAI's conference 2 weeks ago. And then you've got a whole series of other events. Satya spoke at length about co-pilots at Microsoft's Ignite Summit this week. Those co-pilots are frequently heavily powered by OpenAI. So I think what we're going to not only need to hear is from OpenAI in terms of what this means from a strategy perspective for them, but Microsoft first and foremost, who's their most important partner. And then it'll be interesting to see what we hear from others like Amazon, who's only a week away from Amazon reInvent, as well as Google, possibly even NVIDIA.
Does this, Matt, potentially give Microsoft more leverage when it comes to OpenAI? I mean, right now, the company is trading near all-time highs. Satya Nadella is coming up on 10 years since he was named as CEO. It has done some impressive things in cloud, certainly leading up to this point of fighting for the future of AI. Arguably, they probably want more leverage and probably a larger stake than they've got. Does this drive OpenAI perhaps more into the arms of Microsoft?
Well, I don't think they actually want to be a majority owner. That's my estimation. I think they prefer it to be a minority stake. From a leverage point, though, I think you're right. This does give Microsoft more leverage. I mean, keep in mind, Microsoft is, on a path to, in the next couple of years, generate tens of billions of incremental dollars, both from their OpenAI service on Azure, as well as all these co-pilots that we just talked about. And so I think their leverage will be less from ownership and more from, hey, we cannot screw this up. We are partners together. And even though Microsoft has been expanding the aperture of the types of models, and I think this makes strategic sense for them with using Llama 2, having Cohere and others that they're planning to work with, I think that the real thing they need to do is make sure that their OpenAI partnership is sustainable for a long, long period of time, even though there's this leadership change.